Hello, family. I hope that everybody is having a safe and relaxing Labor Day. I wanted to come on here and talk to you. I'm calling it the parable of the tight jar. I will go to the grocery store and I'll buy my organic mild salsa picante jars. And these jars are so difficult to open. I save my jars, y'all, because I think one day I might make some jams or jelly one day. That's hopefully what I want to do. However, as I purchase these jars are so difficult to open. And if I can't get it open, or if the men folk in my house can't get it open, then I resort to a tried and true technique. Many of you may know what that is. I put this jar under some hot water and I just let it sit there. May have to sit there for a little while before it begins to loosen up and I can open it and then get to the contents of what's inside. Because you see, the contents of what's inside this jar is very valuable to me. I put it on my scrambled eggs. I put it on my veggie tacos. And so I'm going to do what it takes in order to get to the contents of this jar because I have use for it. And so, beloved, in many cases, this jar is a vessel, and so are we. And so this jar made me consider how many of you today may be in a hot water situation. You're looking around and there's a lot of water and it's real hot. And you wondering, why am I in this predicament? What has this come to teach me? And so, beloved, as I too have been in hot water situations, I want you to consider that maybe your hot water situation is because Papa is just trying to loosen you up. You see, when I put this jar under hot water, my strength hasn't changed. What's changed is that this top is no longer rigid. It's no longer stiff. It's no longer so tight that I can't get into the contents and then bring those up out of there in order to use them for the purpose in which this picante sauce has been made. And so this makes me think of Acts 7, where Stephen, one of the disciples of Christ, is talking to the children of Israel. He's talking to those in authority, and he's doing a rundown of their whole history from Abraham to Joseph to Moses, even to the time when they were taken into captivity by the Babylonians. And he's basically telling them about themselves, and he's letting them know, listen, you turn to God and then you turn away from him. You turn to God and you turn away from him. You accept his ways and then you reject his ways. And the Lord is taking you through certain things. And so Stephen, by verse 51, is saying, you stiff-necked, stiff-necked, and uncircumcised in heart and ears. You always resist the Holy Spirit as your fathers did. So do you. And so today what I realize is that many of us, and I've been there too, we've allowed our past and the difficulties and the hurts and even religion to make us so stiff, so tight, that which has been placed inside of us doesn't come out. And so Papa has to place us in a hot water situation in order to loosen us up. You see, because our labor is not a labor of love. And in Romans 13, I believe that's 13:10, where it says in the word that love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Some of us are so driven by the labor of law that we've forgotten to be driven by the labor of love. And love is the fulfillment of the law. I like it here in Acts 7:41, where they've gone on, Stephen talks about in the past where they made this calf and offered sacrifices to the idol, which was the golden calf, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Listen, Papa has placed something in you in order for you to rejoice in the work that he's called you to do, not in the work that you've called yourself to do. And there are times where, because we go based on our own plans, we're so rigid to his plans. We're trying to do our own thing that we've become so tight and so stiff that, like Stephen says in Acts 51, we're resisting the Holy Spirit, the one who was in us. So in order to let that which is in us, that which has value, to come out, Papa's got to place us in some hot water. Yeah, it's hot. And he may have to leave you on there and let that water run for a little bit before he can get this off. And so that the contents, that which he has placed inside of this vessel, can come on out and be used for the purpose in which he created it for. So that we can love and serve and give and care for and create in order to be of service to other people and ultimately for his glory. That's what he wants, beloved. So Papa's not putting you in that hot water situation in order to be mean. Let me tell you, that's the lie that I believed. That's the lie that the enemy told me, and that's exactly what I believed for a time. And so I wanted to come here today because I don't want you to believe the same lie I did. He's not doing it to be mean, beloved. He's doing it because he loves you. Listen, when you're trying to do your own thing, then your labor is in vain. Let me say that again. When you're trying to do your own thing, then your labor is in vain. And so that's what that stiffness and that tightness and that rigidity represents. He wants you to loosen up. He's just trying to get you to loosen up so that you can do his will, so that you can open up to love. You can open up to love, because the labor that we do, the labor that we're called to, is a labor of love, beloved. A labor of love. So listen, I believe that this is what Papa wanted to say on this Labor Day. And I was just sitting here to encourage somebody. You're not in that hot water situation because he's being mean. You're not in that hot water situation because he don't like you anymore. You in that hot water situation because he loves you. And he knows the value of the content that he's placed inside of you. His strength ain't changed. He's just trying to get you to loosen up, beloved. That's all that is. You're going to be all right. He just wants you to loosen up. So don't resist the Holy Spirit. Cooperate with him. If you don't know what to do, then ask. He said, ask him. And listen, some of you know what to do, but then you get into such difficulty and you're straining at what to do. You need to turn around and ask him, okay, now how do you want it done? Because again, you striving in vain, you laboring in vain, trying to do your own thing. Ask him how. Ask him what. You're not in that hot water situation for no reason. He's doing it for a purpose, because his plans will not be thwarted, beloved. He just wants you to loosen up so that the contents of the vessel that he's created can come on out and be used ultimately for his glory. All righty. So with that, I believe I've come to say on this Labor Day what Papa once said. I hope I've used my words well. Remember, I love you. And as my mama used to always tell me, but he loves you more. Until next time, beloved. Bye-bye.